thousands of dollars and hundreds of miles. That was the distance between me and my dreams. But Army ROTC changed that for me. I've been able to maintain a balanced schedule, train for service, and receive a well-rounded education. All tuition debt-free.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the truck of the future for everyone. Ford F-150. With best-in-class available towing and payload and an available interior work surface. It's built to work hard and smart. Because the truck of the future isn't built for a few. It's built for America. Ford F-150. Drive one today.
Now, for a limited time, get over $5,800 total savings on a 2021 F-150. Only at your Northland Ford dealers.
You know, state convention always makes me feel nostalgic. It feels like forever since I was an FFA, and at the same time, I have memories that make it feel like it was yesterday. But you know, you kids these days, you have it so easy.
Oh, really?
Ha! You know, when I was a state officer, I actually had to lick the stamps in my reimbursement request because the sticker stamps hadn't even been invented yet. And you know what? Those things tasted disgusting.
Wait, is that even true?
It's true enough. Not only that, we used to have these paper maps, and we used to have to use these to get around. And they'd be folded up under the seat of your car for so long. I mean, a lot of the roads wouldn't even be there. And the thing stained with Mountain Dew and ice cream because you're trying to, right, eat that Dairy Queen Blizzard with a map sitting on your lap trying to drive a stick shift. That's real leadership.
Well, you know, I think according to the Minnesota Department of Transportation, that's unsafe. But go on.
Well, when I was a state officer, we had to wear official dress skirts in 20 below weather. How about that? You get to wear pants now.
I think we all agree that was a problem.
Mm-hmm. And when I was a state officer, I had to rely on the radio. AM radio that was touch and go. It did whatever it pleased. It might be playing a recap of the Twins game. Well, it wasn't so bad when Don Wick on WCCO was giving up the farm report, but you really could only hear every third lyric when you were listening to music because there was so much static. Nowadays, you have a personal little robot DGA curating your vibe, and it tells you to turn-by-turn directions to the closest Starbucks coffee on your way to wherever you're going, and with heated seats.
Okay, everyone. I appreciate your feedback, but when I was a state officer, I started the year in a global pandemic. Our state officer team traveled with our own toilet paper because we didn't know if the place we were going was going to have enough in stock. The state fair was canceled, parts of the planet were literally on fire, and Texas froze over in the same year. We wore masks to everything, went through at least 500 gallons of hand sanitizer, and we had to take our photos with the drone so that we could be socially distanced enough. Oh, and when we ended the year, we were still in the pandemic.
Okay, but I heard you got to wear pajama pants with your official dress this year.
Well, we'll give you that, but come on, who didn't jump on that trend this year?
But in all honesty, I feel really bad for all of you. I loved my state officer year, and this year sounds like it's been really horrible.
Wait, we didn't say that at all. This year was actually really good.
After all that?
Parts of this year were definitely hard. There were moments that were disappointing. As a team, we didn't have a year that looked anything like we signed up for. But here we are, at the end of our year, admittedly a bizarre year, with just as much to celebrate and some lessons we never realized we needed to learn in the first place.
When I was small, I remember wanting to help on my family farm. As a kid, you're sort of limited to certain tasks, and as a dairy kid, one of those tasks is bottle feeding calves. But when you're little, those calves are insanely strong, and I can remember getting yanked all over as they try to rip that bottle right out of my hands, or even sometimes a full-on milk bath. I would get so frustrated. As I got bigger, my jobs on the farm changed, but the first few weeks of the new job always strained my muscles and my patience. Even now, there are days when my alarm goes off and my eyes just burn as I drag myself out of bed to go take care of the cows. Some moments, it just feels like the struggle is just real, you know? Struggle is an unavoidable piece of life. Maybe you skip a word in your officer part and you have to stand there pretending that you aren't blushing for the whole rest of opening ceremonies. Maybe one of your CDE teammates has to drop out because they have a lot on their plate, leaving the rest of you without the ability to actually win in spite of how much you've practiced. Maybe it's one of those days where your car won't start and you're late to school, or maybe you're trying to help out more because there's stuff happening at home, but it feels like your teachers are choosing the worst possible time to assign a massive project. Maybe you feel lonely or misunderstood or overwhelmed. In each of these moments, and in many others, we struggle. I've been guilty of wondering, what's the point? But what I've learned is this: the point is that the things we struggle for have value, and therefore the things we struggle with have value. Maybe it's the extreme strength training you get as a 5-year-old feeding calves, or the lesson to actually pay attention to what's happening around yourself. Maybe it's developing a skill or a character quality you'll need later in life, or recognizing that you have a support system to help you when you need it. In moments that are difficult, it is important to realize that the struggle may be real, but the struggle is worth it.
We often think about how worth it moments and milestones are, but we sometimes forget to find the same worth in ourselves. Whether it be in FFA, school, or just daily life, you matter. Your contributions, your impact, your successes and failures are just ways the world interacts with the value you already have. Our kindness beyond our inner circle of friends and the respect we give others shapes the atmosphere of our schools. The buzz of discomfort we are brave enough to act on when someone makes an inappropriate comment shapes the culture of our communities. The big goals and dreams we have can only be made real when we believe in the potential we already have to achieve them. You are significant to so many things, and one of them is the National FFA organization. If there were no individuals in FFA, there would be no FFA. Your presence alone has value. Imagine if every individual of your home chapter thought they weren't important to your chapter. Would there even be a chapter? It is as individuals that we are connected to the people and world around us in ways that truly matter. After a year where so much has been so difficult, it's important to recognize that our futures deserve the effort we put in today. What you have to offer the world is worthy of investment, respect, and celebration. You, the authentic you, do not need to squeeze yourself into a box of conformity or insecurity. The world needs you to wake up to the fact that you are valuable, powerful, and enough. You alone are worth it.
The first 7 words of the FFA Creed state, "I believe in the future of agriculture." Future. It can mean so many things and come in so many contexts. For some, the future's happening in the next hour, and for some, the future's happening in the next decade. For some, the future's uncertain, and for others, the future is something to shape. In the last year, the idea of future has never left our minds. We look forward to tomorrow to play in our next game. We look forward to next month when restrictions may lay off, or we look forward to next year so that we can go back to our own normal. We look forward to summer, graduating high school, getting a job, and retiring. Future. It is one word, but can be the focus of our whole lives. While this year has not looked anything we could have ever dreamed of, tomorrow is on the horizon. Tomorrow can be a new adventure, a chance to continue, or a fresh start. As agriculturists, we live from a place of believing in the future. On my family's farm, we raise corn and soybeans. When we put that seed in the ground during the springtime, it comes with an expectation that there will be a crop several tomorrows from now that we will be able to harvest in the fall. We do not think that that long process will be without challenges or without having to put in hard work. We believe that the outcomes will outweigh the inputs. Some might say the concept of tomorrow is worth it is the concept of faith or hope. But to me, it is the concept of harvest. The harvest of opportunities, the harvest of dreams, the harvest of potential. When we realize our future is influenced by our own actions, the obstacles of today get put into perspective. Do you want to buy into the family farm, get into law school, achieve a 4-minute mile? Do you want to transform your community, learn to play an instrument, travel to all 50 states? A life you are proud of is just on the other side of whatever it takes to get there. Everything we seem to do in our lives is for our future. And whatever uncertainty today may include, I am certain tomorrow is worth it.
In high school and when I get to go home from college, I work in the dietary department of a nursing home. I know many of you do too. The residents who live in our home rely on us to provide support for them as they get older, someone to look out for them, to provide meals that are nutritious and well-rounded, and just to provide much-needed connection. When the pandemic hit last spring, all the rules changed and the easy systems that had been in place had to be reimagined. People weren't able to visit their families and 100 new steps were added. But in that moment, even as everything changed, it became more obvious than ever why community mattered. And became more obvious that community doesn't just happen. It takes all of us and it takes effort. In FFA, I think we sometimes focus on serving our communities because it's something FFA does. But the point is that we are needed to engage in our communities. We need them not just to buy fruit and judge contests, but to make our communities successful. And they need us not only to perform service projects, but to connect and contribute with the gifts we have to give. None of us can thrive completely alone, and there is something really special about knowing that. Knowing that even we have the ability to meet the need someone else in our community has. We all have at least one gift in abundance that we can share and use to serve others. Community isn't easy when it's done right, because it requires each of us to give something. But when we engage in community, we create places where we can all belong, we can be celebrated, we can grow. We create a place where those efforts aren't inconveniences, they're worth it.
In 10 years, students will pick up a history textbook and read all about the year 2020. The next generations will literally have homework assignments and tests on everything we have experienced this past year as a state, country, and even world. They'll read about the struggles. They'll see examples of individuals who rose up as leaders. They'll see the tomorrow that was a consequence of today's actions and learn how this season has shaped our communities and country for generations. This isn't hyperbole. It's just that significant. But Worth It isn't just about a response to a once-in-a-century challenge. Worth It is something we have to etch into our character so it's there to lean on in the small moments where we struggle when no one notices. It's what we draw strength from when there's no stage to stand on or an audience to look out upon. Worth It is for those quiet moments of self-discovery, the ones where we wrestle with our direction, our relationships, our values. Worth It is the cleansing breath we take after someone says it gets better and before it actually does. We need to believe that our lives are worth it. This isn't a line for a speech. This isn't a moment designed to draw applause from a crowd that doesn't exist. We need to live our lives like they matter,
even in the moments that lack the flash or the newspaper headline or from encouragement from someone on the outside. Because it matters then too. In fact, maybe it even matters more then, because those are often the moments of unseen strength, of compassionate service, of quiet loyalty, where we show the people around us that they are worth it too. And in it all, we acknowledged and continue to see that everything we encountered, even the great toilet paper shortage, was all worth it. This year, FFA members, you found the dignity of labor and the humility of service. You learned not to overlook moments we may have previously taken for granted, relishing in friendships, connection, and opportunity. You grew into more mature members of a larger community, and you built this year from the ground up. And you know what? You did all of that in your pajama pants. But now it's April, and I think it might be time to change all that.
Whoa, this is way heavier than it looks.
I know, right?
Guys, get it together. Make it look like you've never done this before.
We have never done this before.
Fake it till you make it. Click on a Zoom link, carefully and accurately.
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
The convention will come to order. We are now holding a session of the 92nd Minnesota FFA Convention. Vice President Cianurome, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they're at their stations, and report back to you, President Olander. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there.
Through this door, past many friends of the FFA, it is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they're welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the president in maintaining order.
The Reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed by the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standings through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve our country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based upon true knowledge and ripen with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
And why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is a token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. President Olander, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Vice President Cian-Jerome. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
I am pleased to announce that there are numerous FFA members, numerous alumni members, and many guests present. President Olander.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess.
May we accomplish our purposes, I now declare this session of the Minnesota FFA Convention duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matter which may properly be presented. Hello, Minnesota FFA, and welcome to the kickoff session of our 92nd annual State FFA Convention. This year has been a little like riding a roller coaster. Ups and downs, hairpin turns, riding out of distance learning, the rush of uncertainty over what is going to come next, and all of it with 11,000 of our best friends in the cars in front and behind of us, experiencing the exact same thing. The thing about a roller coaster is that even as we feel like we're heading into another loop, we know we're in it together and we'll be able to laugh about it when we get our feet back on the ground, eventually. Here we are, celebrating another convention virtually, but even as we travel to you in the convenience of your homes and in the palms of your hands, all at the speed of light, we know that there is so much good coming your way. The ride has been wild, but as we approach the finish line of this year, I can honestly say that I believe it has been worth it. This year, we've all been challenged in new ways, and that resulted in more mature, innovative leaders for our chapters and our communities. We watched you refuse to let limitations eliminate opportunity. You've converted sit-down celebrations into drive-through meals, created socially distant fun nights, and grown in every way possible. This year, we added teachers, programs, and members to surpass long-held membership records. We connected in new ways, zooming across the state for game nights, leadership development, and discussion about policy issues. You joined us from the backseat as you traveled to your family vacations, the office of the egg room, and of course, the barn, while you were doing chores and listening to the sessions about character, diversity, and attitude. We saw students and teachers go the extra mile and put in more effort than ever before, because while our circumstances may have been more difficult, our mission was as worthwhile as ever. We're so excited that you are joining us to celebrate this year in a way we have never seen before. We've got a lot to be proud of and a lot of planned for the next 5 days. My team is so excited to celebrate throughout this week, but we are not the only ones. Let's check it out.
Hey everyone, this is Chad Beebe, receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, and I just wanted to just welcome you guys to your first virtual state convention with the theme Worth It. Excited for you guys and all that Minnesota FFA is doing. I know you guys are going to learn a lot, and again, so just want to welcome you guys and celebrate all of the work that you guys are going to embark on. I know you'll learn a lot, and that you'll have a lot of fun too. Thanks, Skol Vikes, and God bless.
Hey guys, it's the Millennial Farmer, and it's that time of year again. It's about 25 degrees out here, so it's not quite the time of year to plant corn yet, at least here anyway, but it is the time of year for your state convention. So I want to say welcome to the convention. Thank you for being here. Congratulations on the past year and making the most of all the opportunities that you have had. Agriculture is a unique industry unlike any other, and right now we need the positive voices out there to get the message out to people that honestly don't understand what we do and who are excited to hear from us. So keep in mind, remember that agriculture and your story and you are worth it. Congratulations to all the students here who are going to be recognized for their outstanding work in their specific proficiency areas. And of course, congratulations to the retiring officers here. And I hope you enjoy the leadership workshops and the messages that you'll be getting from different ag education partners. Again, remember, keep in mind, never forget, agriculture's worth it, you are worth it, and our story is worth it.
Hi friends, thanks for inviting me to join your state convention. For those who may not know me, I'm Dr. James Woodard, the National FFA Advisor, and I'm joining you today from my hometown in Georgia. I meet with you today with a sense of gratitude. It's an honor to take part in the Minnesota State FFA Convention. My thanks goes to your state officers, Anna, Ben, Elaina, Emilee, and Laney, for your state and your state staff, Julia Toloski, for leading your state's organization's efforts. They've pulled together to lead Minnesota in an extraordinary year. In fact, I'd like to talk to all of you about the importance of showing gratitude and paying respect to those who have lifted us all in the last year and in times previous. I think it provides an excellent lesson for how each of you as FFA members can find success in your future. First, let me show you a picture. Now, if you're like me, that's a picture of something you've probably never seen in real life. Most turtles where I come from tend to struggle climbing anything, fence posts included. But that tells us that our turtle friend probably had a boost from someone else to get that incredible view, and we know the turtle will need some help if it wants to come down. Now, there's a lesson there that applies to all of us. The truth is, none of us ever get where we're going without a little help. For FFA members who have won awards or earned honors, take a moment to consider all who have helped you. Your advisor, your teacher, your parents, your boss, and maybe even your friends. Then think about where you would be if no one ever lent you a helping hand or showed you a path forward. Without those people, we'd never get an opportunity to be that turtle on a fence post, seeing the world from a whole new view. I encourage you to share your gratitude and appreciation to those who have helped you, and then make sure you pay it forward. As you earn new opportunities and reach new heights, look for ways to help others in their journey by providing tips, advice, and wisdom from what you've learned. I can promise you that you'll find this path rewarding and beneficial as you reach new heights and find your version of success. Thanks for inviting me to join your state convention, and I hope to have the opportunity to meet all of you very soon, perhaps even at the National FFA Convention and Expo this fall. Thank you.
One of the perks of a virtual convention is that we can participate from wherever we are, and therefore we can connect with a lot of people we wouldn't normally be able to. But we also have the opportunity to truly connect on a deeper level with a few special guests. This week, we'll have National FFA Officer Artha Jonassaint as part of our convention celebrations. She grew up in Okeechobee, Florida, where she focused on agriculture communications, egg education, and dairy production, traveled to South Africa, and served as the Florida State FFA President. And she is currently in her second year studying government and global health at, wait for it, Harvard. Yes, that Harvard. So I think we got pretty lucky to have her as part of this week's festivities. Please welcome our Southern Region Vice President, Artha Jonassaint.
Hi, Minnesota FFA. I'm Artha Jonassaint, serving as the Southern Region Vice President of the National FFA organization this year. And I first want to say congratulations on a stellar year. I am beyond elated to join you for your celebration of the incredible work that has happened in the past 365 days, and as we set our sights as to what we want our future to look like. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you all this week. Y'all, let's take a trip back to 2005, and we are in the sweltering heat of the Florida sun. The smell of caramel corn and hot dogs fill the air. Way off in the corner, we see a little tiny Artha with a pink helmet 2 times the size of my body on my braided pigtails, a bat that is way bigger than me that I'm using to clean off the clay off of my cleats. And I'm walking with a little swagger to the batter's box. And there I stare down the most intimidating subject that my 5-year-old self could conjure up, the batting tee. Well, at this point in the t-ball season, my batting average is abysmal at best, but I knew that on that day, I was gonna change it for the better. So I get up there, put my bat over my shoulder, I give it a little shimmy, I say a quick prayer, and I give the greatest swing all 3 foot 10 inches of my body can do. And as I follow through that swing, I feel my stomach drop because I missed the ball on the tee again. No ball contact, no connection. How many of us have ever missed something that is right in front of us? I know I do it all of the time. I mean, something will be right in front of our very eyes. We'll even have all of the tools necessary to find success, but for some reason, we still miss the mark. I wish that this just happened in my T-ball days, but I find myself swinging and missing all of the time, especially when it comes to this idea of connection. Every day we spend so much time staring at cell phone screens and TV screens and computer screens. And if you're like me, you probably even stare at the microwave screen quite a bit too. But how often do we use those mediums to cultivate true connection? Our world has never been so interconnected, but so many of us have never felt so alone. And how unfortunate is it to have hundreds and maybe even thousands of followers and friends on social media, but no one to turn to in real life? But what if I said we don't have to live that way? What if I told you guys that we already have all of the tools necessary to find success and to connect with the people around us in our very hands already? So there we are back on that T-ball field, and my head's tilted down because A, that helmet's way too big for my body, and B, because I'm feeling defeated. I missed the ball on the tee again. It is then that my coach, Coach Neil, the biggest, scariest 6'4" guy that I knew at the time, pulls me aside, picks up my big old head and says, "Artha, all you gotta do is keep your eye on the prize and connect. All you gotta do is keep your eye on the prize and connect." Have y'all ever had a truth bomb dropped on you, and maybe it's many years later that you realize that they're talking about a little bit more than just T-ball? Coach Neil in that moment wasn't just teaching me how to connect the ball to the bat, but he was teaching me how to connect with the people around me. I just got to keep my eye on the prize and connect. In T-ball, the prize might be a base hit, but in life, the prizes are the incredible relationships that we get to cultivate when we take the intentional time to connect. So if you're like me and you find yourself longing for meaningful connections, not just high engagement and sound analytics on Instagram and TikTok, I found that I can keep my eye on the prize and connect, and I appreciate the beauty and the humanity of the people around me. We begin to have our eye on the prize and connect when we stop viewing people as profiles and we seek to water the flowers that lie in our relationship garden. And this happens when we allow other people to enter our lives and we do the very same. So in the past May, I did something with my cell phone that I never, ever thought that I would do with it. Under normal circumstances, I spent a lot of time on my phone. I mean, I read the news on my phone. I learn TikTok dances on my phone. I scroll mindlessly through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest on my phone. So let's add the layer of a global pandemic in which the only means I have of communicating with my friends across the country is through my phone. Well, y'all, it seems like my phone and we are tighter than braids these days. All I do is use my phone. But in the May of 2020, life was a lot different. I don't know if you remember, but it was kind of the circus. It was in May that it hit us that a little 2-week quarantine wasn't going to drive away the coronavirus. It was in May that it hit us that so many jobs are lost permanently, and folks found themselves in a constant state of uncertainty. And it was in May that civil unrest and uprisings were just as prevalent as the coronavirus itself. And social media in particular was the circus. And I found myself the leading act, y'all. People would ask my opinions on really complex subjects because I was one of the only Black people that they knew. Other people took the liberty of assuming my opinion on these really complex topics without ever consulting me first. All the while, every post that I saw, everything that was on the internet really broke down at me, pointing out the flaws in my community, the flaws in this country, the flaws in me. And I found myself looking at the world through a lens of unproductive rage. So in May, when I had finals to study for and laundry to fold, I found myself doing that one thing that we all like to do when we're avoiding work. Yeah, I started doom scrolling. Though I had so many tasks on my to-do list, the only thing I found the courage to do is pick up my phone and scroll. With the nation uprising from the killing of George Floyd and a contentious presidential and congressional election saturating the 24-hour news cycle, y'all, the fiery social media feeds mirrored the fiery streets in the cities of our great nation. And as I was doom scrolling, I came across a tweet that read, "If you still have hope, you're not worthy of being around." If you still have hope, you're not worthy of being around. It was how a single tweet made me question all that I am, all that I believe, and if I am still worthy of occupying space on this earth. That drove me to making one of my most rash decisions to date. I did the one thing that no 20-year-old girl wants to do. I picked up my phone and I deleted every single social media app on my phone. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, all of it. If I could scroll, it was gone, because that tweet helped me realize that I was using my phone and that I was using social media to have this fake sense of connection to the outer world. And when I did that, a few seconds later, it hit me what kind of rash decision I just made. And I asked myself, like, Artha, did you really just delete all of your social media? The one thing that you had to do in this global pandemic to occupy your time? What in the world are you gonna do now? Well, I can't lie. The first few weeks of that social media fast, social media cleanse, they were rough. I mean, I reorganized our kitchen pantry. I color-coded my closet. I was about this close to counting the blades of grass in my backyard because I was so bored and I need something to do with all of this newfound time. Eventually, I did find something to do, and man, was it special. Because of the social media fast, I had the opportunity to really open up the front doors of the people in my life and really enter their world. I realized that those random Snapchat stories that I'd slide up on and the random pictures that I would like on Instagram, they turned into intentional text messages and FaceTime calls with the people who matter most to me. And on May 31st of 2020, my best friend in the entire world, Marissa, celebrated her 19th birthday. And instead of spending 15 minutes curating the perfect Instagram story to share, I picked up my phone and I called my best friend. And we talked, y'all, for hours. We laughed about the plans that we had for her birthday that were ruthlessly upended by the pandemic. We cried about the state of our country, but we also uplifted each other in the same breath to do something about the things that we didn't like, all because we had our eye on the prize and we connected with each other. The prize was never how many likes and views that I could get on that post of her. The prize has always been entering my friend's world on her big day. And I'm so glad that I got the chance to do that. And in my time away from social media, I didn't just enter the lives of the people that I love the most, but remarkably, they did the same for me. I am a consistent and constant tweeter and Snapchatter and Instagrammer, so when I fell off of the face of the planet, the folks who knew me well, they didn't just play a game of, well, where's Artha? They had their eye on the prize and they connected with me. They opened up the front door to my life and entered in a way that I never let them before. How many of us here are guilty of just sharing the good with the world, just the pretty, just the good stuff with the rest of the world? I know that I plead guilty to being a perpetual perfectionist on social media. I never really gave the world permission to see me for me, and honestly, I still struggle with that most days. The thing is, when I spent that time away from social media, I could no longer hide in that Facebook facade that I was living in. So in June, I got the opportunity to sit down with my mama, and I got to tell her some really deep stuff about how I was navigating the world at that time. I told her about my anxiety and how it made me really difficult for me to do those things that I once liked, like playing tennis and writing creatively. I let her know that I struggled a lot with imposter syndrome in my first few semesters at Harvard, and I felt like a stranger in this new community that I was supposed to call home. And I never really thought that I'd be able to share those kinds of stories with anyone, not even the person who's closest to me, my mom. But because my mama is the most intentional person I know, she had her eye on the prize and connected with me. And our relationship has never been stronger. So y'all, I get the appeal of wanting to appear perfect. There is something so frightening about sharing those ugly parts of our existence with the world. And if you're anything like me, you'd ask questions like, will they still like me? Will they still love me? Will they still value me if they knew about these struggles? But here's the thing, folks. When we only share the good and the great with the world, we deprive ourselves of the love that other folks have to give to our broken parts. And we can't let light in if we hide the cracks. We can't let light in if we hide the cracks. So because of this social media cleanse, I really had the opportunity, the luxury of appreciating the beauty and the humanity of the people in my life, of my tribe. And they remarkably did the same for me. I asked about the things we wouldn't dare post, and I shared the things that I wouldn't dare post. And as a result, my relationships are stronger than ever. I feel closer to my parents, and I stopped viewing this world in a lens of unproductive rage, and I started viewing this world with an aspirational lens. I aspired to have a better relationship with others, with myself, and the world that we all shared. And it was then that it hit me. The problem wasn't social media, it wasn't my phone, but it was the way that I was using those things. I have the very tool necessary to connect with the world around me. I mean, Steve Jobs, those creators at Apple and Microsoft, they put the ball on the tee themselves. But my eye wasn't on the prize, so I missed. But when I changed the way that I use my phone, and I changed the way that I use social media, when I changed the way that I navigated through these relationships, I got to enjoy the most precious prize of genuine human connection. Now, I don't get this right every day. Some days I still get caught up doom scrolling or get so caught up feeling consumed with the negativity of the world instead of walking in the positivity with the people that I love most. Sometimes I forget to water those flowers that lie in my relationship garden. But it only takes a few minutes every day to change that. And if I've learned anything in my time in this blue jacket, it's that our students, our advisors, our stakeholders, and supporters alike are dedicated to making a positive difference in this world. So I challenge all of you, Minnesota FFA, to keep your eye on the prize and connect. Use the tools at your disposal to water those flowers that lie in your relationship garden. Whether that's at the CDE contest or the football field or in math class or the grocery store, use your tools and connect. Whether your tools are your fashion sense or your oratorical skills or your livestock grooming abilities, use your tools and connect. Connect with the people around you. Use your tools to better yourself and the folks that you love the most. So, folks, let's pick up our baseball bats, take a step into the batter's box, and let's keep our eye on the prize and connect. Thank you so much for having me this week, and I can't wait to get the rest of our party started.
Thank you, Artha, for being part of our convention this year. I can't wait to see more of you in the week ahead. This week's convention will look different than other conventions. While completely virtual, we know it's worth it to do what it takes to celebrate together. And together, with the help of chapter officers and chapter leaders across Minnesota, we are going to celebrate in ways we've never been able to before. Weeks ago, we made an electronic convention in the classroom guide available to every chapter in the state. A little while later, with help from our friends at the FFA Foundation and alumni, every chapter was mailed a convention in a box to help celebrate locally. On every level and from every angle, we've been preparing to celebrate for weeks. Because even though the world will try to tell you it's not, this year was worth it. So how will we do it? First, every day we'll release some targeted on-demand content where we'll recognize students, chapters, and supporters who have shown up this year in significant ways. Join us each morning for a cup of coffee or in your agriculture class to explore a new way worth it comes to life and to see the students and chapters who prove it. Then you'll be able to customize your virtual convention experience by choosing any and all recognition packages that relate to you, from state degree recipients to Hall of Fame inductees. These are moments you'll want to share and be inspired by. But part of the joy of convention is that unknown, in-the-moment reaction. And this year, we'll have live results every day for some of our biggest achievements.
Connection is a key part of convention, and there are interactive experiences planned all week. Each day, log into a virtual workshop or panel with future leaders and agriculturalists from throughout Minnesota. With topics ranging from personal leadership to tomorrow's biggest agricultural challenges, there's something for everyone. We'll also host a talent show where you can hang out or help determine Minnesota FFA's 2021 talent winner. We'll begin competing to determine our 2021 State Career and Leadership Development Event winners. Starting tomorrow morning, Minnesota FFA members will lay it on the line to earn recognition and the possibility to represent Minnesota FFA at the National FFA Convention this fall. We'll see students compete in egg issues, egg sales, best informed green hand, conduct of chapter meetings, creed speaking, discussion meet, employability skills, food science, parliamentary procedure, and prepared public speaking. And we'll get to watch the finals of several of those events live as they're broadcast for chapters to watch in the classroom. Not only will this year's best competitors be on display, but state winners for years to come will be able to participate and learn from the best. We'll continue competitions for the other events next week, but we will close out convention this Friday afternoon with live results and a new state officer team.
This year, convention is virtual, but we're taking it off screen. Celebrate with us in your local community by bringing daily themes to life. We cannot wait to see how your chapters make the most of each day with games and challenges. Instead of convention being accessible by a limited number of students, we'll all have a front row seat and all be worthy of celebration. As a state, we can open the doors of our programs, serve others, share gratitude, and bear witness to these moments of greatness in a whole new way if we're willing to embrace the difference. So how will you bring convention to life in a way that serves your chapter and community? Watch for daily tasks in your convention guide for a chance to win big by representing the best of what Minnesota FFA has to offer. There's a lot in store for this week, and convention will be unlike anything we've ever seen before. To make the most of it, ask your FFA advisor about local opportunities to get involved, or check out the convention website for schedules, unlocked content, and planning resources. You can also download the convention app to have it in the palm of your hand. We can't wait to see how you make this week worth it. And who knows, maybe we'll see you somewhere online or on the road. FFA is a place We come to find belonging, growth, and achievement. We can't deny that this year's challenges have been a central part of our story. But we have the ability to lead ourselves and our world when we choose to focus on what is valuable instead of what is difficult. FFA is worth it, and you have been the evidence of that all year long. Let's make the convention worth it too.
This is going to be an epic week, and it all starts tomorrow at 7 a.m. when the first content goes live. I'm tired just thinking of it. Maybe I missed those pajama pants after all. Secretary Swears, do you have a record of any further business that should now be transacted?
I have none. President Olander.
We're about to adjourn this session of the 2021 Minnesota FFA Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent at labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. FFA members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now declare this session adjourned.